As you can see, we're going to be talking about one of the most evil things on the planet in a bit. I won't call him a man because I don't think he's human. What I'm going to talk about first is I've been getting loads and loads of messages over there, and I'm going to read it out to you. It's for a week tomorrow. Saturday is the 12th tomorrow, and a week on, so it's Saturday the 17th of November. Dead country. I do not make any purchases. Go to any bank. Do not use gas pumps, petrol or diesel. No cinema, no expense of any kind. Do not spend a single penny. No cash running all over the country. No public transport. No tolls, parking, highway. There, yes, we block there. What annoys the most government is le fric. Send this to max of people, peace and love. So basically, next Saturday, a week tomorrow, don't spend any money. Stay in, chat, or meet up and chat. Don't spend any money. Let's hit these bastards where it hurts. Now, again, before we get into that, I've got a little story to tell you. I was speaking to someone who was saying how they had their aunt, I think it was, who was in Nottingham City Hospital, and up until last week she was doing fine. They were talking about what she's going to do when she gets out and that, and then Saturday things changed. What they've done at the Nottingham City Hospital, they've put her on the Liverpool death pathway. As of Friday night, they started injecting her with morphine so she couldn't talk or say that she's hungry or thirsty, and they cut off all her food and water. They're killing her, they're dehydrating her and starving her to death. And the family can't say it. I told who I was speaking to what's going on, and they sort of like didn't believe it, but you could see it all made sense. So Nottingham City Hospital, just like the McCanns, are a bunch of murdering bastards. She's still alive at the moment, and in fact the nurses are surprised at how strong her heartbeat is, because she's had no food or drink for a week. Nottingham City Hospital murdering bastards. Police accuse Netanyahu relative and confidants of bribery. What a shock! That piece of shit! And his relatives have been bribing, have they? Oh, well, that's something you just never expect, apart from the fact that you know they're a bunch of scum. Pressure grows on Prime Minister as police find sufficient evidence to charge his personal lawyer. Of course, a lawyer will never represent himself because they're too connected. That's the bullshit they come out with. Israeli police have accused members of Benjamin Netanyahu's inner circle, including a relative and a former head of staff, of bribery and money laundering in relation to controversial $2 billion deal to buy German submarines and Navy patrol boats. Oh, what a shock! That piece of shit is corrupt. Wow! You know, he allows Palestinians to be shot by snipers, children and everything, and he's corrupt. I could never have seen that coming. Could you? Court documents reveal Google believes free speech is disastrous for society. And now you know why the likes of Facebook and YouTube have been slamming down on anyone putting out what's going on. Because they think speaking your mind is wrong. You shouldn't be allowed to say what you can see, that the government are totally corrupt, full of paedophiles, the courts totally corrupt, full of paedophiles, the council's totally corrupt, full of paedophiles, the police totally corrupt and full of paedophiles. And I could go on, as you know, but I've said it before, so I don't need to say it again, really, do I? I'm just going to read a little bit of this because I found something rather interesting. Frankly, as soon as Google began engaging in censorship and manipulating search results, they should have been shut down. I absolutely agree, and the heads should have been locked up immediately. They received millions of taxpayers' dollars illegally and unconstitutionally through a CIA front group to get started. Oh, what a shock. The CIA is involved. The biggest criminal bunch of bastards on the planet. Along with MI5, MI6 and MI7 if there is one. Now I think you'll all agree with this part, or this particular bit. Franco supporters arrested for plotting to shoot Spanish PM. Oh, I wonder if anyone's thinking about that in this country. Does she deserve it? Probably. Savage Javid, the piece of shit who voted to cover up the Windrush debacle, of course, but now he's got the job of covering up the Windrush debacle and anything else that comes along. People offended by Asian paedophile comment oversensitive. The Home Secretary says he was simply stating a sad truth that will fuel the far right unless it is confronted. The far right, that means those that don't like paedophiles, don't like this invasion by these so-called migrant, immigrant, whatever you call it, it's a frigging invasion, backed and paid for by Soros, of course. Savage Javid defended branding a grooming gang, sick Asian paedophiles, saying those who criticised him for it were being oversensitive. Well, I actually agree with that part. They are sick. I'm not so sure about the Asian part, paedophiles, because you'll find the majority are usually Pakistanis. London crime. Police furious after Savage Javid tells them to step up response to knife attacks in capital. Comments come after MPs warned government funding cuts could have dire consequences for public safety. Oh, does that mean we're going to have some chaos then? Well, they'll be able to bring in their new world order out of that chaos then, won't they? Because that's the plan. Police have reacted with fury after being told to step up their response to knife crime by the Home Secretary a day after MPs warned of cuts could have dire consequences for public safety. Savage Javid called the Metropolitan Police Chief Cressida Dick after 5 people were stabbed to death in the space of a week in London. The Home Office said he told Commissioner, "We must act together and I stand with you as we face this challenge." Are you on the streets then, being stabbed? No, you're sat in your bleeding, protected with armed guards bleeding office, aren't you? You parasitical shithead. UK cannot stop Article 50 case going to ECJ, says Scottish court. Group seeks ruling on whether Britain can unilaterally withdraw from Brexit process. Oh, what a shock! We're not leaving! Wow, I couldn't have seen that coming, except, oh wait, I did as soon as it happened. Perhaps the world's conspiracy theorists have been, well, it says right, but I'll say correct all along. We used to laugh at conspiracy theories. No, not really. But from FIFA to banking scandals and the Iraq war, it seems they might have been onto something after all. Conspiracy theories used to be so easy. You'd have your mate who, after a few beers, would tell you that the moon landings were faked, which they were, or that the Illuminati controlled everything, which they do, or that the US government was holding alien autopsies in Area 51. Well, I don't know about that, but I suspect they probably have. And you'd be able to dismiss this because it was all rubbish. You're a lying piece of shit, Alex Proud. You should be proud. You shouldn't be proud of your name. You should be proud of being a dickhead. I'm not going to read the rest, but basically, yeah, those that have been pointing out what's going on have been spot on all along. Ooh, there's a shock. So that means Parliament is full of paedophiles, is full of rapists. They are in it for themselves. The royals are paedophiles, the councils are paedophiles, the courts are run by paedophiles, the police is run by paedophiles. Of course the police are, because you've got to be a Freemason to get up that level, and Freemasonry is satanic. No matter what they tell you, Freemasonry is satanic. More perverts in Parliament. Children should be taught about orgasms at school, MP says. MP Jess Phillips has said, this is a paedophile. This bitch is a paedophile. Oh, what a shock, she's Labour. Labour MP for Birmingham, Yardley, said she believes girls should be allowed to learn about sexual pleasure during sex education classes. The mother of 2 added that she hopes by doing so it would close the orgasm gap. Orgasm gap. This is a paedophile. Jess Phillips is the name of this paedophile. She later clarified that she wasn't suggesting children taught to masturbate. Speaking to Grazee magazine, she said, "Women's expectations should be greater. We have to start demanding more." She's a friggin' paedophile. Just so you know, MP, member of paedophiles, Jess Phillips is a paedophile. Female paramedics forced to give sexual favours to bosses at work. It's got to stop. Female paramedics working for an ambulance service were forced to give sexual favours to bosses, a new report has alleged. The South Western Ambulance Service Foundation Trust, SWASFT, employees were subject to a myriad of abuse, with the indecent report adding women were also made to view porn and were called fresh meat. The cultural review from SWASFT and trade union Unison also detailed accusations of workers simulating sex in front of their colleagues, and said a boys' club existed at Bristol service, with sexual banter being thrown around regularly. Fewer than 1 in 100 theft offences are being solved by police, analyst shows, as police criticise over priorities. It's not a shock. It's part of take the country into chaos, then we can bring in the New World Order out of that chaos. That's what's going off. Unless, of course, we all go and storm Parliament, drag them out and serve up justice. I'll let you lot decide what justice. Stephen Glover, 10 years to beat knife crime, Mr. Card. What mind-boggling complacency. Well, Sadiq has been oh so busy. Who but a half-wit could doubt that we are in the midst of a violent crime epidemic, with neither the police nor the government seem able to do much about it? Chaos. Yeah, you know. In the past week there have been 5 fatal stabbings in London. By the time you read this, the grisly toll could have climbed to 6. After all, an average of 40 knife crimes every day are carried out in the capital. Violent crime is soaring, and the word is not misused. After years during which it appeared to be in decline, there has been a sudden explosion of offences which experts are incapable of explaining. Well, that piece of shit is to blame for a start. Oh, and let me think. Maybe it's the migrant invasion. Maybe that's got something to do with it, because it only started happening since that, didn't it? Colchester rough sleeper banned from pavement drawings. Campaigners have leapt to the defence of a well-known rough sleeper who has been banned from drawing on the pavement after his possessions were removed by council workers. They live. It's on YouTube. Go and watch it. This was what they were telling us back in the 80s they were planning. This is exactly what's in that film. David Miliband earns £425,000 a year as head of refugee charity International Rescue. Don't give any money to charities. It goes straight to paedophiles like that. Social workers denied parents time with dying baby, says Ombudsman. The parents of a seriously ill baby were unable to spend quality time with their child in his last few weeks of life because City of York social workers did not review his case properly, the local government and social care ombudsman has said. Social workers are murdering bastards. They work for the government. They procure children for the paedophiles. The whole system is screwed, and we can stop it. We lock up all these bastards and sort it out. But if you're just sitting at your computer going, oh, well, he's right, and doing nothing, you're part of the problem. Even if the one thing you do is a week on Saturday, so the 17th, don't spend any money. Primary schools bans children playing football before class due to health and safety over lack of supervision. What a pile of shit. So you can't even play footy in school now, which is the only fun the kids have. Moreland Church of England Primary Academy implemented stringent rules. Said, pity they didn't do that with a bleeding priests, didn't they? Stop them raping children, but no, stopping them playing football is more important than stopping them being raped. Sent a letter to parents stating that children should not be on site before 8:35 a.m. Parents have been left furious with the school wrapping kids up in cotton wool. And there's a picture of one of the, I presume, the dickhead that tried to implement it, or is trying to implement it. Almost all Brits speed in 20-mile-an-hour zones, DfT reveals. So what's the point of adding more of them? A whopping 86% of drivers exceed the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, which spikes at 94% to 94% after midnight. This is to frustrate you. That's all these 20-mile-per-hour signs of limits are for. It's to frustrate you, because you need to get somewhere. Oh, now you've got to do 20 mile an hour. It's like Lady Bay, where the criminal CEO of Nottingham City Council lives. It's 20 mile an hour all over Lady Bay. He probably had something to do with it as well, because it's a European policy. You see why we need out of that bleeding dictatorship? Nearly all British shun 20-mile-an-hour zones with a 94% drop. Yeah. The latest DfT the figures fuels the argument against the reduced speed effectiveness. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying near schools you shouldn't slow down, but every frigging road. And now, what I've noticed as well is all these roads that used to be national speed limit, single carriageway 60, are now 50 or 40. To slow you down further, to make you more frustrated, because you've got to get somewhere, you've got to deliver some goods or something, and you've got to do a ridiculously slow speed limit. More Brussels bullshit backed up by a criminal government. Speaking of criminal governments, France and UK must strengthen links to hedge against Trump. But wait a minute, I thought we were leaving Europe. Oh, we're not really. It was all bullshit. Oh, hostility of US President to Europe's defence role and impact on Brexit demand closer alliance, says ex-NATO head. Oh, he's an ex-NATO head as well as a Rothschild's puppet. I'm not going to read the rest because it just winds you up. More paedophiles. Psychiatrist who filmed young boys urinating in public toilets dodges jail and will be back to practicing in 3 years. A psychiatrist who filmed young boys urinating in toilets will return to work. Aaron Voon was found to have recorded 8 videos of young boys in toilets. Courts have heard Voon has a urination obsession and psychological condition. Dr. Aaron Voon, 42, was found to have recorded 8 videos of boys urinating along with 400 screenshots of the video, which focused on victims' genitals at his Mount Pleasant home and clinic in Perth in June. Despite being charged with over 8 child pornography-related offences, the former director of Cockburn Central's Successful Development and Therapy Centre avoided prison in September. Paedophiles protect paedophiles. This is why I say judges are paedophiles. Not all of them, but the majority. And if you're in their club, you don't go to jail. Now remember, I was also saying how the cops are, well, not quite the same, but interesting. Well, it is the same, to be fair. Ex-cop faces 45 new charges of sexually abusing 4 young teenage boys between 1998 and 2011. A former police officer has been accused of repeatedly sexually abusing boys. Gary Edward Burton appeared in Perth Magistrates Court on Thursday. It's alleged the former officer sexually abused 4 boys between 1998 and 2011. The man already had 16 offences and the recent charges bring it to a total of 61. He was granted bail and will appear in Perth Magistrates Court on December the 20th. On Thursday, Gary Edward Burton, 61, appeared in Perth Magistrates Court, where he was charged with 45 offences in relation to sexually abusing 2 teenage boys. Yeah. See? Cops, judges, don't matter. Medical, yeah, they're all in it. They're all in the same club. Speaking of being in a club, here's someone that's been in a club for so long. His name in college was Miranda. Do we know who that is yet? Because he likes cross-dressing and he's a paedophile. And he's got blood of millions on his hands. You got it. Tony Blair cost taxpayers $1 million in past decade in expenses. Tony Blair has claimed more than $1 million in taxpayers' cash to help fund his role in public life without submitting a single receipt for public scrutiny. The former Prime Minister has invoiced the Cabinet Office for an alleged worth of up to £115,000 a year to help pay for his public duties after leaving government, since he stood down as Prime Minister in June 2007. He has claimed £1,077,888 from public funds. The allowance, called the Public Duty Costs Allowance, PDCA, was introduced to provide financial support for former Prime Ministers who remain active in public life. So, he's still on benefits now, even though he's worth over £1 billion. Why do you think he's worth over £1 billion? Because he pays for nothing. More about corrupt police. Catching online paedophiles should be lower priority than violent crime, Cressida Dick says. Oh, so catching violent child rapists isn't a priority with you? Well, that tells me what side of the fence you're on. Britain's most senior police officer has said catching paedophiles who view indecent images of children online should be lower priority than rising violent crime. And why do you think there's rising violent crime? Because they wanted it. So they can bring out this bullshit of catching paedophiles. It was low priority. She has to be a paedophile herself. I bet she goes to Hampstead. Daily Fail. Welcome to the firm, little Louis. That's a very good saying. And he's looking at him thinking, yeah, I'll be having you later. Yet another flu jab fiasco. After vaccines that didn't work now offer over 65 struggle to get one. There is a God after all, because he's stopping this over 65 from getting that toxic poison. Aye. Britain remembers, it doesn't, it's a scam. Cancer treatments, waiting times, worst on record. Prince Andrew suggests new 60 million yacht, royal yacht. Well, I tell you what, you pay for it, you frigging parasite. Doesn't her suit you, sir? Love Island inspires more men to go hairless. In other words, gay. We want to work with you, really. Oxford Uni tells Stormzy. PM facing cabinet rebellion as she reveals finalises Brexit deal. Growing revolt over breakthrough in talks with EU. May hopes to call her cabinet together on Monday to approve a draft pact with Brussels. Some ministers fear UK will lose sovereignty over backstop. Fox defies PM on negotiations, and he's not alone. Brexit secretary mocked after admitting he hadn't quite understood how reliant UK trade is on Dover-Calais crossing. It'll still be there, you moron. The scum. The doctor will Skype you now. Exclusives. I'm the star, not you. Strictly Danny in Bully bust up. BBC Furious partner storms out in tear. More Strictly shit. The Guardian. We live on this stroppy little island. Well, piss off. Rank the best Spice Girls songs. None of them. Decline of the high street gathers pace as thousands of stores close. Gig economy workers to be promised better rights. Who touched who? Trump ignites new media row. Trump told him, I've had enough of you bullshit, I don't want to hear anymore. So his PA went to get the mic and he knocks her away. So he wants doing for frigging assault. Of course, the papers will spin it so that it's Trump's fault, after he called the CNN fake news, which they are. The Times. Landlords pushing up rents to exploit housing benefit shortfall. No deal plan will include no border in our Irish Sea. DUP accuses May after leaked letter from number 10. Like it or not, families ban nannies from social media. Star. Bundling the jungle. Corbyn ally ban poppies, they're racist. Well, I don't know about that, but they are taking the piss. Strictly, shock eye, can't go on with him. Oh, who gives it more shit? Strictly bollocks. Express. So proud when Grandpa Charles met little Louis and he's thinking, I'm going to be shagging you later because I'm a child rapist, and we tend to shear all our children. That's why we're all in the same gang. Diabetes drug bill soars to $1 billion a year. Stop it. Eat organic fruit and vegetables. You won't have diabetes. Telegraph. A legacy of loss. No, a legacy of piss taking. EU demands rights to fish after Brexit. So there is no Brexit because Brussels says deal with it. UK must grant access to foreign boats as dispute threatens to divide Tories. So there is no Brexit. We're still in the EU, no matter what they lies to tell you. The paedophile and the kid he's going to be raping later. Javid to beef up stop on search powers, unlawful. CPS chiefs criticised for rhetoric on terrorism. Attenborough migrates to Netflix. Brexit rebels would not relish another election with May. 5% of road traffic links to NHS. White House in row over edited video. Metro. Rab, I didn't think it Dover. Brexit chief faces jibe as he admits failing to realise UK reliance on port. Twat. Student massacre, gunman is Afghan war vet. Financial Times. College night tragedy in US shooting. Now, I don't know about that. I was out last night. First thing I would say there from that though is where did they get them sheets from? KPMG acts on conflicts of interest with first curb on consulting work. Tesla picks outside Denholm as chair in effort to keep volatile Musk on track. Investors clean up before 4 billion super sewer is built. Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.